The goal of finding trillions in savings is ambitious, but it becomes technologically plausible only when you have a system capable of tracking every dollar with perfect fidelity, in real time, laying the indisputable groundwork for what could come next, the return of value directly to the citizens who funded it. If the efficiency mandate is the engine for this transformation, then the Social Security Administration, SSA, is the proving ground where the new technology will be stress-tested on a national scale. The focus here is not incidental, it is strategic and symbolic. Social Security represents the single largest mandatory spending program in the federal budget, a direct financial covenant between the government and millions of Americans. The recent scrutiny around the SSA hasn't been about minor accounting errors. It exposed profound, almost surreal, irregularities that demand a revolutionary solution, not a bureaucratic patch. The catalyst was data that defied belief. Reports indicating millions of Social Security beneficiaries were listed on the rolls as being over 110 years old. Demographically, this is an impossibility. The presence of such glaring data ghosts points to something far worse than an outdated database. It signals vulnerabilities that could range from massive identity fraud and improper payments to systemic failure in data management and verification. This revelation did more than spark headlines. It triggered immediate and serious congressional audits and became a focal point for the government-wide efficiency drive. The scale of the potential waste here is monumental, representing billions, if not tens of billions, of dollars in improper payments, draining the system's solvency and public confidence. In response, we witnessed a significant leadership change that speaks volumes about the intended fix. The former head of the SSA stepped down. The individual appointed to lead the turnaround is not a career bureaucrat from within the agency's ranks, but a tech-focused executive with a deep background in the payments industry. His public statement was unambiguous and echoed the language of Silicon Valley more than Washington. Fixing Social Security will be a technology story. This word choice is a deliberate and powerful signal. He is explicitly framing the century-old agency's problems not as a deficit of funding or personnel, but as a deficit of modern technology. He is diagnosing a system failure that requires a system-level, tech-driven solution. Furthermore, his pledge to work 100% with the efficiency team, D.O.G.E, is a declaration of alliance. It marries the political mandate to cut waste with the technical expertise to rebuild infrastructure. This collaboration is key. The efficiency team identifies the what and the how much, the leaks in the system. The new SSA leadership, with its payments and tech background, must design and implement the hows, the new pipes, valves, and meters. This partnership suggests the solution will be external and transformative, not internal and incremental. The choice of Social Security as the first major target is genius in its operational and political logic. Operationally, it is a contained yet massive system with clearly defined inputs, payroll taxes, and outputs, benefit payments. Successfully implementing a new technological framework here, one that can verify identities in real time, prevent fraudulent claims, and ensure accurate payments, creates a repeatable model. This playbook can then be applied to Medicaid and other complex benefit systems. Politically, demonstrating the rescue and modernization of this beloved yet troubled program would be a monumental achievement. It would show tangible results that directly impact the financial security of everyday citizens, building immense public goodwill, and proving the viability of the broader efficiency agenda. Thus, the technology story of Social Security is the opening chapter of a much larger narrative. It is the first and most important case study in replacing opaque, analog, vulnerable government systems with transparent, digital, and secure infrastructure. The success or failure of this tech rebuild will determine the pace and ambition of everything that follows, setting the standard for how the government manages every dollar of public money. The grand vision of a tech-driven government efficiency revolution faces a critical, practical question. What specific system can execute it? The requirements are not trivial. This is not a niche application for a startup. It's the potential backbone for a significant portion of U.S. fiscal operation. The chosen technology must be instantly scalable to handle hundreds of millions of transactions, institutionally compliant with rigorous financial regulations, battle-tested in high-value environments, and exist as a turnkey solution to avoid a multi-year, trillion-dollar development cycle. When these stringent criteria are applied, the evidence points compellingly toward one existing infrastructure, the XRP ledger and its associated ecosystem developed by Ripple. The argument for XRP begins with first principles of the problem. The core mandate is to move value, whether it's reclaiming erroneous payments, distributing dividends, or modernizing benefit systems with unprecedented speed, transparency, and lower cost. The current system, a patchwork of legacy banking rails like A and Fedwire, is too slow, too opaque, and too expensive for a real-time accountability model. The solution must be a native digital asset settlement layer. XRP is explicitly architected for this singular purpose. It acts as a bridge currency or a neutral settlement asset that can finalize transactions in 3-5 seconds at a fraction of a cent compared to the days and dollars of traditional systems. For a government tracking real-time savings and aiming to disperse funds efficiently, this technical capability is not a nice-to-have. It is the foundational requirement. Beyond mere technical specs, XRP's most powerful advantage is its deep, pre-existing integration into the very fabric of modern financial and regulatory discussions about payment system evolution. This isn't a new player proposing a theory. It's an established participant with a seat at the table. Crucially, Ripple's leadership and executives hold positions on the U.S. Faster Payments Task Force and the Faster Payments Council. These are the official bodies tasked by the Federal Reserve and the industry itself to design the future of American payments. Their presence is not incidental. It signifies that the technology is already vetted, understood, and considered a credible part of the national payments roadmap. The connections, as the script notes, are already there, waiting to be activated. This dramatically reduces the adoption friction and regulatory risk for a government client. Furthermore, the XRP ecosystem is built with institutional and regulatory compliance as a primary design constraint, not an afterthought. Through Ripple's product suite, financial institutions can use the XRP ledger while adhering to strict KYC, Know Your Customer, and AML laundering rules. This is a non-negotiable prerequisite for any government financial system. The network also demonstrates proven scalability, having handled transaction volumes comparable to major credit card networks without congestion or fee spikes. It is, in essence, a finished product that has been stress-tested for nearly a decade by banks and financial entities worldwide. Finally, the geopolitical and strategic alignment is significant. Ripple is a U.S.-based company. Its technology, while global, is developed under American corporate and legal jurisdiction. In a climate of increasing technological sovereignty and competition, the choice to rebuild critical national infrastructure on a domestically developed and controlled platform carries immense strategic weight. It avoids the political and security pitfalls of relying on a decentralized anonymous network or a platform developed under a foreign adversarial regime. Therefore, XRP is not just a candidate. It emerges as the prime candidate because it uniquely meets the multi-dimensional challenge. It offers the technical speed for real-time transparency, the institutional credibility for regulatory acceptance, the pre-built network for immediate deployment, and the strategic alignment with national interests. It represents the most viable off-the-shelf infrastructure capable of turning the political vision of an efficient, transparent government into a functioning technological reality from day one. The vision of a truly efficient government cannot be realized by simply recording transactions on a faster ledger. True efficiency requires proactive intelligence, the ability to not just see every transaction, but to understand it, analyze it in context, and predict or prevent waste before it happens. This is where the convergence of artificial intelligence, AI, and blockchain technology creates a synergistic feedback loop so powerful it can be described as an unbreakable audit engine, or more evocatively, a truth machine for public finance. This partnership addresses the fundamental weakness of past oversight efforts, the inability to analyze the entire data set in real time to find hidden patterns. The model is elegantly complementary. Blockchain provides the perfect immutable data set for AI to analyze. Consider the current challenge for auditors and fraud detection algorithms. They work with messy, siloed, and often contradictory data from thousands of different government databases. Data can be altered, deleted, or hidden. An AI trained on corrupt or incomplete data will produce flawed or limited insights. A public, permissioned blockchain ledger solves this at the source. Every financial movement, a contract award, a grant disbursement, a social security payment, is recorded as a time-stamped, unchangeable transaction. This creates a single, verifiable source of truth that is both tamper-proof and complete. For the first time, an AI system has a holistic, real-time, and trustworthy map of the entire government's financial flows upon which to operate. With this pristine data foundation, AI's capabilities are unleashed to perform audits at a scale, speed, and depth impossible for human teams. The head of the D.O.G.E initiative explicitly stated their plan is to use AI to find fraud, waste, and abuse for a living. This means deploying machine learning models that can identify anomalies in real time, spotting a payment to a deceased beneficiary, a contract awarded without competitive bidding, or a procurement price that deviates wildly from market rates as the transaction occurs on-chain. Uncover complex patterns and networks, detecting sophisticated fraud schemes like collusion between contractors and officials by analyzing the web of transactions between entities over time, a pattern invisible to human auditors reviewing discrete files. Predict and prevent future waste, using predictive analytics to flag high-risk contracts or programs before funds are even disbursed, shifting oversight from reactive to proactive. This is not a one-time audit. It is a perpetual automated audit machine. Once an AI model identifies a new fraud signature, it can instantly scan the entire historical and incoming ledger for similar patterns. Every case it finds reinforces its learning, making it smarter and more efficient. The blockchain ensures that the evidence trail for any finding is permanent and court-ready. This synergy creates a powerful virtuous cycle for the entire efficiency mission. Blockchain enables AI's intelligence, and AI amplifies blockchain's value. The ledger's transparency is no longer just for observation. It becomes the fuel for active, intelligent guardianship. The promise of real-time updates thus evolves into real-time insights and interventions. Furthermore, this combo directly enables the dividend mechanism. The AI-driven audit engine is what discovers and quantifies the recoverable savings with credible, data-driven precision. It moves the discussion from theoretical waste to specifically identified, ledger-proven recoverable funds. The public can see not just a savings total, but the reason for each saving, validated by an impartial algorithm. This builds the trust necessary to justify returning a portion of those specific AI-identified savings to taxpayers. In essence, AI becomes the engine that finds the money, and blockchain becomes the trusted pipeline that ensures it is accounted for and can be responsibly redistributed, creating a self-reinforcing system of accountability and reward. The culmination of this entire technological and political endeavor is a concept that transforms abstract government efficiency into a tangible, personal benefit for citizens: the taxpayer dividend. This is not a stimulus check funded by new debt or monetary inflation, which can dilute currency value and create future liabilities. It is a fundamentally different model, a refund of reclaimed value, a direct return of taxpayer money that was previously lost to waste, fraud, and abuse. This mechanism is the critical link that turns public skepticism into public participation, creating a powerful political and economic incentive structure that ensures the system's long-term success. The mathematical blueprint is straightforward and compelling. A public proposal, as referenced in the script, provides a clear formula. Allocate a significant portion, e.g., 40% of the total savings identified by the D.O.G.E initiative and its AI blockchain audit engine. and divide it equally among the nation's approximately 79 million tax-paying households. This is a conscious strategic choice. By limiting the dividend to tax-paying households, it creates a direct and morally defensible link. Those who contribute to the system are the ones who share in its recovery. This distinguishes it from universal basic income, UBI, or broad stimulus, and frames it as a reward for productive participation in the economy. At the scale of tens or hundreds of billions in recovered savings, this math translates into a potential direct payment of thousands of dollars per household, a life-changing sum for many that can be used to pay down debt, bolster savings, or invest. This design establishes a powerful, virtuous cycle of trust and incentive, which is its most revolutionary aspect. First, it incentivizes public vigilance. When citizens know that a portion of every dollar of waste they help uncover could end up back in their own pocket, they become active auditors. A government employee noticing a redundant contract, a contractor seeing bid rigging, or a citizen spotting benefit fraud now has a direct financial reason to report it through a secure channel. The public transforms from passive observers of government spending into an engaged, distributed network of watchdogs, dramatically expanding the reach of oversight. Second, it restores the social contract. The dividend provides concrete, annual proof that government efficiency is not just a political slogan, but a process with measurable personal returns. It rebuilds the fractured trust between citizens and institutions by demonstrating that the system can work for them. Each dividend check becomes a receipt for good governance. Third, it incentivizes labor force participation. Because the dividend is contingent on being a tax-paying household, it creates a powerful economic nudge for individuals on the sidelines to enter or re-enter the workforce. The prospect of a substantial annual refund on top of earnings acts as a significant motivator, potentially boosting productivity and economic growth without mandate. Crucially, the model is inherently non-inflationary. The funds for the dividend are not created by the Treasury or the Federal Reserve. They are recaptured from within the existing federal budget. It is a reallocation, not an expansion of the money supply. Research suggests that such windfalls to middle and lower income households are more likely to be used for debt reduction and savings rather than immediate consumption surges, further muting any inflationary pressure. The timing of such a dividend is politically potent. A potential distribution in 2026, following a first full year of intense audit and recovery, would land just before midterm elections. It would serve as an undeniable physical artifact of a campaign promise kept, a check bearing the signature of accountability. This creates a self-reinforcing political mandate. Success begets public support, which begets more mandate to expand the efficiency drive. Thus, the taxpayer dividend is the keystone of the entire architecture. It is the mechanism that justifies the massive technological investment in blockchain and AI, aligns the interests of the government with those of its citizens, and creates a sustainable economic feedback loop where better governance directly translates into greater personal and national prosperity. It moves the narrative from cutting waste to creating shared value, making every citizen a stakeholder in a more efficient, transparent, and accountable future.